In my last episode, I was a bit negative about the ID.3 and I talked a lot about software HAL. I wanted to explain to you how software was so complicated. So what has happened today is that Volkswagen has responded to everybody, and Herbert Diess on LinkedIn has showed a picture of himself with Thomas Ulbrich driving an ID.3. Now, they have said it's been very challenging for Volkswagen at the moment because of the coronavirus that you've probably all heard about. So it's been particularly challenging for the sales and presentation department and also the R&D department. Thomas and Herbert were seen wearing masks driving an ID.3. So apparently they did 1,200 kilometers in the ID.3. So that's great news. It means the car can drive 1,200 kilometers, and they did several fast charges. How many is several fast charges? Well, in English, several fast charges can be 2 or 3. So apparently they drove 1,200 kilometers doing 2 or 3 fast charges. So, I mean, that would just be amazing news. And they said they were very happy with the performance of the ID.3. So everything seems good. Hopefully we will be getting our ID.3s in the summer as promised. Just some caveats here. So Bjorn Nieland, who does many 1,000 kilometer challenges, the quickest car he ever did a 1,000 kilometer challenging is a Model 3, was charging at almost 200 kilowatt hours. So the ID.3 does not charge at 200 kilowatt hours. Maximum, it can charge at 100 kilowatt hours. If they did 1,200 kilometers and not 1,000 kilometers, and Bjorn Nieland in a Model 3 did 1,000 kilometers in 10 hours at almost 200 kilowatt hour charging, we can guess that these Volkswagen employees, Herbert and Thomas, doing 1,200 kilometers, did not do that in one day. Otherwise, you're looking at 14 or 15 or 16 hours probably in an ID.3 that can only charge at 100 kilowatt hours. I'm not saying anything bad about the ID.3. I think this is great news that people are charging it, but we have to read behind the headlines. I guess these people, they may work 15, 16 hours a day, but I guess they probably are more likely to work 8 hours a day. So I guess they must have done this test over 2 days, which makes you think probably they charged the car overnight. Another good thing about the ID.3 is they're restarting production again with it. You know, it slowed down because of the coronavirus, but now it's restarting again. So hopefully they've got a lot of parking spaces, so all those ID.3s can go into the parking spaces. Another positive point I wanted to talk about was delivery date. Everybody was expecting the ID.3 to be delivered much sooner than what Volkswagen actually promised. Before the corona lockdown, when I was allowed outside of my house and outside of my garden, I did a video about 2 months ago about the expected delivery date of the ID.3 and what we should expect based on fact. Then I had shorter hair. And my hair wasn't such a mess because I can't go to the hairdressers currently, and I could walk outside. So now we're going to cut into my piece. Exactly when was I expecting my ID.3 to arrive? What did they promise me for dates? So on the 8th of May, in the pre-bookers event, I actually ordered the ID.3 online in Portugal. So at the pre-bookers event, they actually stated that production of the vehicle would start at the end of 2019. So it did. It started at the end of 2019. At the same time, the Manager magazine more or less said because of software issues, they're having to store the vehicles until they release them late in 2020. But in the pre-bookers event, you can watch the video online, they actually stated that we would be able to order the vehicle in April. So between May, when I placed my order with 1,000 euros, and between April of 2020, I could cancel the order at any time. So in April 2020, I expect an email or contact from Volkswagen saying you have to place your final order for the actual car you will receive. Now, in this pre-bookers event, they never said when the car will be delivered, but if you're going to order it in April, I guess the delivery date should be after April 2020. So nobody should have expected the car before April 2020 for the ID.3 first. Let's look at other information. When I went to the frequently asked questions page for the ID.3 in Portugal, it actually said we will get the ID.3 within the first half of the year. So from April to the first half of the year, which is the end of June, that's when I expected the ID.3. If we look at the UK frequently asked questions site for Volkswagen, they're actually saying it should be delivered starting from the summer of 2020. So summer of 2020 could be any time, June, July, August, perhaps even going into September. If you look at the pre-bookers terms and conditions on the UK site for the ID.3, it actually says that the car will be delivered in October. Now, October is a little bit after the summer, and it says that's subject to change. So they're actually saying October. So I'm thinking perhaps October for the UK, because in the UK they will have a right-hand drive vehicle, and perhaps the right-hand drive vehicles are coming out a bit later than the left-hand drive vehicles that we are getting in Portugal. This week in Spain, I had an event talking about the ID.3 for Spain, and in the Spanish event they actually said that it's going to be delivered in September. I expect in Portugal it also will be delivered in September, so now I'm not expecting it in August, July or June, I'm expecting it in September. Volkswagen has never been 100% clear on the date they will give it to customers. I mean, that's obvious, it's a new product, it's not ready yet, so they've probably got some estimates. Is there a delay? Isn't there a delay? So my theory is if it is September, October, that to me is later than the June date promised in Portugal. So to me currently there seems to be a delay of 2 to 3 months from June if you're going to September or October. 2 to 3 months is probably perfectly acceptable. Obviously I ordered the car in May 2019, so it will be more than 12 months to get the car, but you know, this is a new car, a modern car, and we just have to. So it seems that Volkswagen are still promising that the ID.3 will be delivered in the summer. Even with the coronavirus, if they can still promise that date, that is excellent. And the fact that Herbert Diess and Thomas Ulbricht can drive 1,200 kilometers in a prototype ID.3 is excellent. And it seems that finally Volkswagen are giving some positive news about all the software issues that have been reported in true or fake media. So hopefully us ID.3 first orderers will get the car in August or September. So thank you again for watching this episode.